Welcome to a demonstration of our app, Space for Less. The purpose of our app is to connect those who have with those who need spare storage space. This is our homepage. As you can see, there is a filter here to filter for posts, and here we have displayed all the posts, which go over a number of pages. If we look here at the top, we have a nav bar. Now, at the moment on our nav bar, we do not see a link to the page to post or book, and that is because you need to be logged in to be able to do these things, and we will come back to this. If we scroll to the bottom here, we will see that there's a footer. If we click on the About page, we can see that there is here a description and a video describing our app. Now, a user is unable to post or book unless they are logged in. So if I were to try to direct to the page post, it would simply take me to the login page. If we go to the sign up page, we can see here there's a form for signing up. So if I leave the first name just for this moment blank and I use the surname, let's just use one. I'll just go with any random password. I go property owner and I click sign up. It's going to return a few errors. All the required fields will show this error if they are left unfilled in. If a user uses a username that has already been used, this error is returned. If they try to use an email which has already been entered, they also get the same error that there has been an account already with this email. So if we now try to change it, and I go sign up. So as you can see, we have a flash message saying I've signed up. Now just to log in, if I enter the email and the password, I have now logged in. We have also created some custom error pages so that if I type in 123, which is a route that doesn't exist, I'll get this custom page which says not 404, not found. It gives me the option to return to my home page, so I do that. And if I were to get a 500 error, which would be an internal server error, I've just already put in an internal error to the FAQ page. So if I click on that, here we go. You also get this custom error, which gives you a link to return to the home page.
In the case that a user has forgotten their password, they can reset it via email. Here, they would just need to fill out this form, and this would enable an email to be sent to them. The email will contain a token which will send them to a page where they can update their password. By filling in this update password form, they will have successfully updated their password. Finally, they can log in with their new password. If I signed in as a renter, I would need to successfully log in. If I submitted that form empty, I would be prompted for input. If I input the wrong email, I would be prompted to input a correct email. By inputting the correct details, I'm redirected to the homepage. Some changes have been made to the homepage now that I'm an authenticated user, as the post titles have turned into links. I can see other people's profiles. And finally, I can see that the nav bar has changed, namely, I do not have the login and sign up options. Now I have the home, logout, and profile options. Clicking into my profile, I can see all of my details here. I can see that this is where I would get any alerts regarding any bookings, any booking requests. This is where I could view my bookings, and this is where I would be able to update my account. And this is also where I could choose a profile photo. The chosen file would have to be in the correct format. So for example, this would not be accepted as it does not have the approved extension. Therefore, I would have to switch to one with the approved extension and I would be able to update my account. As a renter, I can also search for a property. So for example, if I only wanted one of a specific size, I could search for that. Currently, there are no properties of this size. Also, search for a specific location, and then I would see that property come up. Finally, I can also leave comments on any properties. So I could put in any kind of question here and submit. If I attempted to access a functionality that is restricted to a property owner, I would be redirected to the following page. Now that I'm logged in as a property owner, I can see that the profile is quite similar to that of the renter. I can see my properties, update account, and reviews, the only differences being that I can post a property. If I posted this property empty, I would see that I'm prompted for input. If I input some incorrect information and omit a picture, I will see that I have to correct the postcode and I have to upload an image for it to successfully post my space. This post can also be updated here. Now returning to my other properties, I can see that somebody has left a comment and I can post an answer. If it's empty, I can see this field is required and I can answer the question.
The booking process happens in a couple of simple steps. It starts off with a renter being interested in a specific post. So let's say I'm interested in this some space in my garage, right now signed in as a renter. If I click on the title, once all my questions have been answered in the comments, I can request a booking. That sends me to a form where I can put in my email that I want to share with the property owner and a small message. Once I've entered the message, I can send the request. And if I go to my profile, I can see that today I've booked some space in my garage post and the request is pending. So this status will change when the property owner will accept my request. So if I now log in as a property owner and I go to my profile, I can see the message and the email of the renter that just sent the request. Once I've communicated with the renter and we've decided on a price, I can send an invoice request. This invoice request is in pounds, so I enter how much we've decided on. Let's say we've decided on £44. Enter 44, I send the request. If I now log in as a renter and I go to my profile, I can see that I can now make the payment. If I go to make payment, it says you're making a payment of £44, which is exactly what we've decided on. I click pay with card, enter my email, I enter the card number, the month and the CVC number. So just to confirm, it says pay £44. So I click that, I wait for the request to be done, and that seems like it worked. It says you've successfully paid for your property. If I now go to my profile, I can now post a review. But let's just go check first the property. If I go to my profile of the property owner, it says payment of £44 complete. And now if I log in as the renter, I go to my profile, I can post the review and put a 5/5. If I submit the review, I can see I've successfully posted the review, and if I go to Bob, which is the person I've used, I can see my 5-star review and the review that I've posted. If I log in as the property, I can see that a review was left. And if I go to reviews, I can see that indeed Greg has left a review. Also, just to check the payment went through to Stripe, we go to the Stripe dashboard, and if we refresh the page, we can see that the £44 has been received to the dashboard. And that's all there is to booking.
Our main approach to testing was to create unit tests for each of the main functions of the app. So if you'll see here, there is a test file for authorization, booking, and posts, and of course main, which corresponds to the blueprints here, which have separated the main functions. Under the test underscore main file, we've created the base test case as well as 3 other tests for the main blueprint. If we go to booking test, just to give an example here, we have one test that tests that when a user makes a booking, it's a success, and when a property owner tries to send a invoice, it does so successfully. So if we were to just run these to see what happens, what it will do as well is, not only, given that it's based on the base test case, not only will it run these 2 tests, but it will run the 3 tests under the base test case, and we should see that all 5 pass. Right, so all 5 do pass, and on top of booking, as we said, we have the post tests and the authorization tests.
We also set up a continuous integration, continuous deployment pipeline. So if we go to the workflows YML file, we specified that on each push to the master branch, we will have a few jobs happening. So first there's some initializations and the flake8, which tests for a few errors. And then we run all the tests that we have on our test folder. And only if they pass, and only if those tests pass, we will deploy our application. So if we make a small change in our application, we can then commit the change and then push the change to GitHub. Once the push is successful, we can then go to our GitHub repository, refresh the page, and then we can see that the latest commit is queuing. And here is where we see everything that is happening. So the job is set up, all the initialization happens, the dependencies are then being installed. Once the dependencies are installed, we check for any syntax errors with lint flake8. We then run all our application tests. And once the tests are done, we can add the remote to Origin and deploy to Heroku. Once the app is deployed to Heroku, if we go back to our code and we look at our environments, 1 minute ago there was a deployment. So we can view the deployment, and this is our application.